Hi, everybody. I'm Charlie Hurst. I am a part of the Finance and Economics Club here at GCU. I'm a freshman, and I am also the Director of Operations. And we run our own podcast here with GCU Finance and Economics on YouTube.
Man, that's great. So you do podcasting. I did this. How did you get into podcasting?
Yeah, so I've always been into public speaking. I ran a business in high school where we got to pitch in front of about 400 people and 6 judges, and I just really like public speaking. And I had an opportunity in the finance club to get involved with this podcast, and we really just took it from there. Mary Claire Pelk has been a very good host for our show, and she's done great. So
Man, that's amazing. So this is a technology and culture podcast. So I want to get into the behind the scenes of the finance sector and behind the scenes of making the podcast. So your podcast is about what's happening in financial news and stocks, right?
yeah,
So how do you do your research for something like that?
Yeah, so I got into it about 2 years ago. So I use an app called Yahoo Finance, which tracks live stocks,
Oh yeah, I
and
have that.
it gives an update about what they're doing, as well as it gives you news from the source Yahoo. And I also look at the Wall Street Journal, as well as obviously like your live broadcasting of news channels like Fox News, CBS, CNN, all of those. But yeah, that gives pretty good overall articles about what's happening.
And do you have a favorite source?
Favorite source. I usually just am looking at Yahoo Finance for live updates about what's going on, and it's really easy to use that one because while the stocks are updating, then you can also see what's happening in the news to really understand.
Oh, that's great. Finance, I use that application a lot. I just use my email to get access to the Wall Street Journal, so that's
Nice.
good and all. But do you do any sort of trading or like for personal research apps to use for that?
Yeah, I do a lot of trading. So I got into that as well 2 years ago. My teacher, Mr. Kraus, he actually taught me about it. And I got into options trading and swing trading. And then from there, I took that to day trading. But the apps I use for that, I use an app called Trading View. So it gives you live chart updates when you're looking at a bar chart. And obviously, Yahoo Finance is for that more long term view because you can see the charts in the news there. But if you're using Trading View, it's more for that short term trading that you see a lot of people on TikTok do. But yeah, that's about it.
So you said you're into day trading. How do you do that? So I was interested in that.
Yeah, so there's this website that I use. It's called Top Step. So you can get funded $50,000 from them after you pass a trading combine. It's kind of like a test.
Okay.
So you have to profit $3,000 with fake money over a period of 3 days. And then after you pass that combine, then they give you $50,000 to trade with. Um, and that's really beneficial because it costs about, I think it's around $100 to do a combine, and then after that, once you pass, then you can trade and make real money.
So have you passed the combine?
I have. I've passed a lot of combines.
Nice. Wow, sounds really useful. Hopefully, I can get into that. And onto the behind the scenes, when you're producing the podcast, what kind of software and technology are you using on that podcast?
Yeah, I honestly have no idea, just because I'm not the one that's running it. So it's actually, we have a podcast room in the College Colangelo of Business, and they have a team there. They all work for the podcast room, and they run things for us. But I think that's really about it.
Okay, that's nice. So you just come up with the topics that you discuss?
Yeah, pretty much. It's really nice.
Yeah. So what do you discuss on there? I've only seen like one episode.
Yeah, so we talk about the markets and what the markets did for the day. So today, I think the S&P was up about 2.5%, and the Nasdaq was around there as well. So we will discuss why the markets are moving. So today, last night, there was a ceasefire deal that was announced by President Trump. So the markets moved overnight to that high percentage, and then this morning, or I don't know if it was this morning, but it was around noon, I think, when Iran claimed that Israel broke the ceasefire deal. And we haven't seen the impact of that on the markets yet, but I assume that they're going to drop again tomorrow. So we discuss things like that. And then at the end of the podcast, we do a segment where we talk about how this is relevant to college students. And we talk about a topic. So today we talk about networking. So how networking is important for college students to really help them with jobs in the future.
Yeah.
And really get to meet people. So we try to bring it to that college audience as well.
Yeah, I think it's super important. And since this isn't live, I'll put up if the market does change by the time this video comes out in editing. But how do you network? Because I think that's like a top skill that people need to have, but they don't really know.
Yeah, so I think networking is really about what scenarios you put yourself in. So obviously, being a part of the finance club, it's easier to go to these events and put yourself in scenarios where it's easy to make connections with people.
Yeah.
So when you go to club events at your college, no matter what major you are, it's always going to be a good opportunity to go and speak with other college students that have the same goals as you and put yourself in a scenario where you're around smart people. And even for the finance club, we have speakers from these firms come in, and it's good to network with them because they could be people that you could have a job opportunity from in the future.
Yeah, what do you talk to the students and the phone leaders about?
Yeah, so usually when you're networking, you want to find something in common with somebody. You don't want to just approach them about like your accomplishments or something. If you're trying to build a relationship, you want to ask them a question, like maybe, hey, I'm assuming you're a finance major, but like, what made you get into finance? Like, what's the job that you're looking for in the future? Stuff like that. Just really simple, small questions that really help you get to know a person quickly. And then you can go into questions about like, oh, what's your favorite sports team? You keep it personal. So then you have that personal relationship with that person.
Okay, that sounds like a good idea. Being able to network, and communicate with all of these people. Uh, do you use your phone a lot in finance, or any like favorite apps other than Yahoo Finance or like stock trading?
Yeah, so I brought up TradingView as well. TradingView is the main one that I use because I am a short-term trader and I like to look at bar charts. But there's a lot of apps out there that can really help you with um, like stock picks and getting into the deeper elements of a company, talking about like their earnings reports and stuff. And I think Yahoo Finance is the best one for that. There's a bunch of other ones that can go deeper into that as well. But I personally like Yahoo Finance.
And and what is your end goal for this, for like your personal life?
Yeah, so as far as like a job goes, I personally want to be a trader on a trading floor, which is kind of like a classic finance job.
Yeah, I've seen pictures of that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I just think it would be really cool to be the person executing the trades for like a financial advisor or something. I think that'd be really cool. If not, then I want to go into consulting. So my dad's actually a consultant, and he goes and helps startup companies um, build and offers solutions for them. And he does a lot of public speaking and like presenting PowerPoints and stuff like that. And I think that's something that I would really thrive in.
And on the trading floor, how would you get paid? Do you get paid hourly, or do you get paid based on the performance of the stock?
I'm not 100% sure. I think a lot of trading is commission based. So, say I make $10,000 on a trade for a customer, then I would be getting commission from that. But I'm sure.
So when you're making these connections, and I've been talking to the artificial intelligence chatbot Grok about this a lot. It says that I am like strategic when I'm trying to talk to people, but it thinks that I have a hard time connecting with people. I think that's somewhat true as well. So how do you manage between networking and making friends, and is it easy to make friends in your department?
I think it's actually really easy to make friends in finance. This is just from a personal experience, though. Obviously, being in college, everybody's looking to make new friends.
Yeah.
So, going to my first day at the finance club when we were doing the leadership development program, you meet a couple guys and they're like your buddies. But
Yeah.
I was walking in there not networking. I was looking to build relationships and make new friends because it was pretty early on into my college career. And I think the difference between networking and making friendships is I think network builds friendships, but when you're networking, you're really just trying to build relationships with these people to have sort of a connection for later in life. So say you go and network with somebody and maybe they're just a finance major now, but in 10 years they might be one of the richest people alive. Then they call you up and be like, hey, like I really enjoyed our time in college. Like, do you want to work for me? And that's where networking pays off, is because you know so many people and you've built relationships over a period of time. but networking builds friendships as well.
Yeah, I think there's so many people here who also aren't in finance, but just don't have as much ambition, but they could grow up to become some of the richest people alive, and I think that's important. But when you're in these friendships, like how do you make sure that they don't, just forget about you or see you as surface level? Like how do you make true connections with them?
Yeah, I kind of found my people going into second semester. I went golfing with a couple of the guys from Finance
Oh,
Club,
nice.
and we just started hanging out from then. And it really got into like a deeper friendship.
Hmm.
And I think over a period of time, you are like that at the beginning of a friendship, and then it gets deeper.
Mm.
But I really think that you're able to make a deep connection with these people.
So you're just saying like time and activities?
Yeah,
So
100%.
first semester is like what, 60, 70 days?
Probably
So
something
something
like
like
that.
that. Yeah, okay. So you just need to have uh, time and activities like golf. And did you do any other activities?
Yeah, so for the Finance Club, we also hosted a couple of pickleball events.
Oh,
So
nice.
we would have speakers come in and play pickleball with us, and that was a good opportunity too to make some friends.
Is that one of the sports that like I guess the elite play, like golf and lacrosse, things of that
I
nature?
don't know. I think pickleball is more of an older sport. So I think pickleball's got really popular over the
Yeah, it's
past
super
couple of years,
popular. Yeah.
but it's mostly among old people. I think it's more of an old
Well, I mean,
person sport.
they are rich. Well, some of them
I
are.
I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't really know. I
Yeah.
haven't looked into that, but golf is definitely one of them, like you mentioned.
Yeah. And I guess for our last question for today, I'd like to have you come on again and talk more about your personal life and growing up.
Yeah.
Do you utilize artificial intelligence in your trading and in finance?
Yeah, so when I first started trading, I did a lot of my research with AI, especially ChatGPT because that was the only big one
Oh, okay.
back then.
Which year was this?
This was probably 2 years ago now.
24?
Yeah, I think so.
So,
Yeah, it was mainly ChatGPT
okay.
dominated, but I had it create not an algorithm,
Hmm.
but a strategy for me. So there's this broad strategy with call options. It's called the Black-Scholes theory. So I would go in and look at a bunch of different contracts. This might not make sense to you because
Oh, okay.
it's pretty not high level finance, but stuff that not a lot of people do. But
Yeah,
I
yeah.
would go in, look at the price of these call options, and I would tell ChatGPT, I would say, hey, can you tell me what is the best price for this call option based on the Black-Scholes theory? And it would go through and tell me based on this very big calculation which one is the
And
best.
was it accurate? Because I've heard that these large language models are good for English and history sometimes, but not as good at math because they sometimes hallucinate.
Yeah, I think it was pretty accurate. I mean,
Oh, okay.
I saw a high success rate from this strategy that I was running with ChatGPT.
And did you pay for ChatGPT Pro or was this all on the free version?
This was on the free version,
Oh,
but I own
nice.
ChatGPT Pro now.
Oh, that's nice. That's great. So, artificial intelligence, what percentage of that would you say is important to your investing and finance career and club?
Oh, 100% of it. I think right now Claude is the one that dominates everything.
Yeah, I've heard of
That's the
it.
one that everybody in the finance club, you'll go into the Charles Schwab lab that we have here on campus. Everybody's
Yeah,
talking about Claude and how
yeah,
everybody needs to get familiar with Claude. But overall, AI is super important in every industry right now. I
yeah.
mean, if you are good at using AI, then you can get any job in the world because they're going to need young people that know how to use AI to be able to teach the senior executives in a certain job. So, I mean, I think a lot of fresh college students can go graduate college, go into a firm in finance or any
Mhm.
field, and have a position where they're teaching, I mean, 50-year-olds and up about how to use AI. And I mean, they'll have a pretty good role right out of college.
Yeah. And you just brought up the Schwab building. Uh, have you ever used the Bloomberg terminals in there?
I do use the Bloomberg terminals. I go there about twice a week
Oh, okay.
with my buddy. But it's always packed in there. I mean, those computers are the smartest finance computers in the world. And there's just so much to benefit off of it as a finance major. And there's so much knowledge that you can gain from them.
What exactly do they do? I've never seen one in person.
Yeah, so you can go in and you can get really high level information about companies. And you can go in and
Like from the news?
not, I mean, yeah, you get really up to date feed from the news,
Okay.
but it's more so going in looking at, okay, what is this company's value?
Mm-hmm.
What are some key like components about this company? And it just gives you more information than you're able to get on a regular app like Yahoo Finance. And one of the key things that I found really interesting is I found a way to go in and see the chance of a recession in certain countries. I did that first semester, but that was really cool. So you can get really cool statistics like that.
And where are they getting the data?
I think they're getting it from Bloomberg.
Just like the company?
I think so, yeah.
And do they have people around the world that send the information to them, like reporters?
I'm not 100%
okay.
sure, but
Yeah, I've always been interested in them because they came out just like a little bit before the internet, and now
Yeah.
we're entering the AI era. So, have they embraced artificial intelligence, or are they just still the same?
I'm not 100% sure. I don't think there's artificial intelligence on it, but you can obviously use AI to help you use the
Summarize it.
terminals. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Well, that's great. Thank you for coming on to Pulse, and hope you tell your friends about it and come on another
For
time.
sure, man. I
Thanks for
appreciate
coming
it.
on.